Hey guys, it's Rich Boy J here, back again with another video. This is going to be the Crait mock build series part 11. Now honestly guys, at the beginning of the week, I didn't really think this was going to be that good of an episode. I didn't think we were going to get any parts in, which meant that we were probably just going to have to do another ground section, and we still don't have any salt in, so it was going to be a pretty boring update. But what we were able to do was get a few parts in that allowed us to start working on the trenches, as you can kind of see right here. And I really think that this is one of the better episodes because it kind of breaks up the monotony of us just working on ground sections all the time. And then I guess also the AT-M6 back there finally finished up. Most of you watching this has probably seen that video already, but if you haven't, I am going to give you guys a close look at that, and you'll be able to see all the details in the AT-M6 that's going to be in this mock. So I think just kind of the aesthetic of both of those walkers sitting behind me, it looks really nice, guys. Super excited about that. So glad we got the parts in to start working on the trenches, and I think that this is probably going to be one of the better updates. Also, I'm sure you're noticing this video is coming out a little bit late. I mentioned in, I think, one of my Your Questions Answered videos that this was going to come a little bit later because we ended up streaming last night, which meant that the actual update after the build had to happen today. So sorry about that, but here it is. So the other thing I do want to mention right off the bat is that I'm going to be on vacation this week. I'm going to Las Vegas for a Monster Truck show. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge Monster Truck fan, as you can see by my most popular video on this channel. That's a fun fact. If you want to know a little bit more about me and about this channel, go look at my most popular video. I think you'll be pretty surprised. So what that means is that we're not going to have a live stream this week. We're not going to have an update video this week. I was thinking about doing it sometime like mid next week, but honestly I do want to allow us some time to get a lot of parts in because we do have quite a few things on the way right now, which means is that for the next update, which won't be this week, but it'll be next week, it's going to be a lot of like progress for you guys. So kind of sucks that in the meantime we won't have an update, but I do promise you guys that for that next week we're going to have quite a bit of new things to show you. So it's a minor setback for a major comeback, and I think that you guys are really going to enjoy it. So without further ado guys, let's jump right into the mod. Alright guys, so let's first look at the AT-M6. If you guys haven't seen the video already, I did a pretty comprehensive overview on this thing on my channel, so make sure you check that out. The title of it is simply 15,000 piece Lego AT-M6. So go ahead and check that thing out if you want to see like a really in-depth look at it. But if you haven't, I'll show you guys it a little bit in this video. My overall impressions of it is just ones of love and joy. Super glad to be done with this thing. I knocked it out relatively quickly for a 15-piece build, and I'm really happy with the way it came out, honestly. Like, I don't think I could have done much of a better job with it. I really think that it looks nice next to my AT-AT over there, which, of course, I'm going to have to eventually convert to its, like, first order complement. But until then, the Imperial one will sit over there. It looks good enough for, like, the aesthetic of Crait right now, just kind of figuring out how everything goes. But all in all, guys, super happy with the way this thing came out. Of course, let me know in the comments what do you guys think about the AT-M6. One of the things a lot of people were kind of concerned about with this is kind of the scale and whether or not it would dwarf everything else in the mock. But I'm pretty happy with the fact that we've allotted ourselves a lot of space to be able to work with. So it's not going to feel like everything is too cluttered or everything is kind of like crowded, because we're going to have like walkers over here, a little flat space between where the battle is going to be going on, and then the mountains and the wall and everything like that over there. So it's going to be pretty nice the way everything kind of works out. So really happy with that. Just give you guys a final look at this finished AT-M6 as it looks here in this mock. Of course, got the glowing red lights on the face. Alright, now let's move on to the ground that we worked on. Alright, so obviously the trenches are right there, but before I give you guys a really close in-depth look at that, I want to show you a few other things that we completed. So obviously we got this square right here built up. We have that red strip right there because that's going to be exposed for the line that the speeders leave. So All in all, like, this section is relatively finished. We're just gonna have to finish up the removable section over there, and then obviously add all the salt and stuff over here. But I'm really glad to just have all the ground here finished up, so we can kind of just move forward into the trenches. Like I said, we have like none of the salt pieces that we need right now. Still waiting on a few orders to come in. So hopefully when those come in, we'll be able to just get this entire strip finished up right here, and we'll be good to go from there. So hopefully that comes in soon. Really counting on that. Another thing I did was over there, went ahead and replaced those dark gray wedge plates with the white ones. So now it actually matches up. And we're going to have to at some point go in and like fill in those little cracks right there with some of these, like, where are they? I guess we have some on this. With some of like these pieces, it isn't ideal, but it does kind of work and make it look a little bit more flush rather than having just like a little weird cracked section in there. So hopefully we can get some of those in soon and go ahead and get that section finished up. I don't honestly think we're gonna fill all of them in, just maybe most of them, just because like it would look like weirdly uniform if there were a bunch of bumps kind of in it. So it's really just a decision to make. Like, do you want it to be indented or do you want like the bump coming out? I think the bump looks a little bit more smooth, so that's ultimately why we're putting those in there. But all in all, I think the lines just look really sweet. This is probably like the best kind of view we've had of them so far, because all the curves have been filled in with their correct pieces, and super happy with the way it came out. I think it just looks awesome. Hopefully next week we're also going to be getting in the parts for the dust trail, so we'll actually be able to finish up the aesthetic of the spears going across the ground, and then we have a pretty good finished picture over here, guys. Once we get the assault pieces in, I think one of the first things I'm probably going to do is actually put them in over there under the feet of the AT-M6, just so like everything basically from there and back is just completely finished. Like, we don't have to touch it. And then also I'm going to start, seeing what we can do insofar as like getting these sections finished up, and we can have a better picture of the overall MOC. So that, I think, pretty much finishes up everything that we did in relation to like the ground and everything except for the trenches. Now I want to give you guys a really close look at the trenches. Let's go ahead. In the first update video, I believe I showed you guys this little prototype Crait trench that I came up with, and this was kind of the first thing that I really started putting together when trying to figure out how these trenches were going to work and like integrate with the side of the MOC and things like that. So this inspired a lot of our decisions moving forward. I think whenever I showed Garrett this, he was pretty much a fan of it, but one of the things he did point out was, hey, why don't we add in some of those like cheese slopes as well, just to kind of give it more of a rocky look. And I was like, oh yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea. And then we stumbled upon a MOC maker called Lego Fox Bricks, and he was implementing a lot of cheese slopes in his trench design, and I think we absolutely fell in love with it. So that kind of inspired us to do a hybrid between both of them, just because we didn't want it to look too rocky with just cheese slopes everywhere, but we did want to incorporate some of them, because if you guys like even look at the design for the Crait trenches, you can see that a lot of those protrusions actually like look like real life cheese slopes. So we wanted to make sure we implemented a lot of that, but then also kind of capture some of those flat sections as well with the 1x2 tile that I had implemented. So I think we did a pretty good job at amalgamating both of those things here in this design. So I went ahead and I moved out a lot of the figures just to kind of give you guys a better clean look at this thing, and this is what we came up with. So let's move that out of the way. So you guys can see that these walls are really just a combination of cheese slopes, and then those 1x2 tiles just pushed down slightly. That's actually done on purpose. It's done for the effect of giving it a more rocky look. We didn't want it to just have all the tiles kind of lay flush against the plates, and I really think it captures everything we wanted to capture with these trenches. Like, it gives us not only the like rock texture with the cheese slopes and the protrusions, but then also some of the smoother sections as well with those 1x2 tiles. So of course, let us know what you guys think of this. I'm really happy with the way this came out. I think that we got the best of both worlds of what we really wanted to capture, and kudos to Lego Fox Bricks. He did an awesome job with his cheese slopes and on his trenches, and I'm really happy that we found him, for one, but then then also we're able to kind of implement it into our mock. So one of the many things that we actually kind of messed up on this is, I guess we just got started building and we got a little bit excited, was the fact that we didn't put any of the wall details initially. So that's kind of why I threw this on there, just to kind of get a good look at what this can look like. What that actually represents is this like bar thing that kind of goes across the trenches along the backside. Gonna have to figure out some creative way to do those wires. I'm thinking some like light gray flex tubing, but we're gonna need quite a bit of that to kind of do this, and then also going to figure out how to attach it to the wall, since like the tile is there, it doesn't have like an obvious attachment point. So that'll have to be something that we figure out, but I'm pretty confident that we can work something out with that. And then also, we didn't add the ladders in, so that was kind of a problem. So we're actually going to have to go back into this and pull up a lot of it to add a lot of those details in, as well as the ladders. Probably going to do a ladder here going forward, and then a ladder here coming out of the backside of the trench. And I think all in all, it'll look pretty good. So here's another look at the other side. We obviously didn't finish up a ton of it, just kind of started getting a rough idea of what it would look like. We didn't want to continue too much further without having a pretty good idea of like the details that would be on the wall. So that's why, you know, there's some progress, but there isn't a ton of progress. Like, we actually probably have all the like cheese slopes and tiles that we need to finish up this section, and probably the entire trench going across the mock. But we wanted to leave ourselves some time to kind of figure out exactly what we want to do for a lot of those details. And then also, if you guys will notice, if you look at like the actual scene from the movie, they actually add a lot more like details in the trenches. So like there's a lot of like bags and crates that kind of sit around. There's that boy Poe chilling. So yeah, we're gonna have to not only use some of like the details from this like behind the scenes picture, but then also make sure we remember to throw in like the bags and stuff like that that they kind of have laying around the trenches, that I presume they carried like weapons and stuff inside. So I'm gonna have to consider all those things. I think these trenches are gonna be very detailed. It honestly makes me a little sad, because I'm feeling that whenever like we kind of finish up with all those details, a lot of this rock sections are actually going to be hidden, which, you know, isn't the worst thing in the world, but I would like for, you know, these rock sections to kind of be highlighted in this mock, because I really do think that they look excellent. And then one of the other things that we did, we started kind of laying these pipe pieces going across the edges. It's not going to be these just like one by one Technic bricks kind of exposed. We're going to hide those in some creative ways, maybe put some crates around them, or kind of build them to look like some sort of generator or something like that. But this is really just a way for us to kind of get those sitting there and have it in place and see what it would look like. We're also going to be adding some of those like grate pieces that are those grate sections that kind of sit on the ground. You can see those, I believe, here in this picture. So we're going to have to line the entire trench with those. We would have done that, but I have none of those grill tiles left after, I'm sorry, I have one left. This one right here is all I had left after working on the AT-M6. So that was a little unfortunate, but hopefully we can get those pieces in soon as well, and then be able to get a pretty good comprehensive look at the finished trench design. So that really is going to finish this up. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and pause it, and I'll replace the figures on here so you guys can get a good kind of action shot of it. So I'll be right back. Alright, and now we got the figures back on this thing, so you guys can get a pretty good look at what this thing will look like whenever it's just loaded with troops. I feel like the aesthetic of this entire piece of the mock is just so fulfilling, guys. It's really nice to be able to have something that we can put like figures doing kind of action-y stuff in right now, so really excited about this. Also, one thing that I didn't really mention in the previous video is that we're going to have some, I guess, quasi like tunnels. One of the things that we're going to be doing is having like these doors. So on this particular part of the mock, these doors actually really aren't going to go anywhere. They'll probably come out to about here on either side, and they'll stop, but they're kind of meant to give the impression that like they lead to some sort of underground tunnel. On the other section, so the trenches that are, so this trench is going to kind of sit like in the middle of the mock. Now the trenches that sit like on the outsides, like there and over here, those are actually going to have like actual tunnels that lead into the actual base. So really excited about that. So just to kind of give you guys an idea of what that'll look like, this is the door that I came up with. I'll probably end up changing a little bit of it around, but I think generally this is probably the design we're going to stick with. It looks pretty accurate to what it should be. And just to kind of give the illusion these doors go somewhere, you won't really be able to see, you know, like up this close to it whenever you're looking at it. And when this thing is kind of all built together, so you won't be able to see that, oh, this door doesn't actually go anywhere. But we're going to put some wall sections just to give the illusion that those tunnels do actually go somewhere. Like I said, the tunnels on this particular piece of the MOC aren't going to actually go anywhere, but on the outer sections, there's going to be, you know, a trench going across, and then the doors will actually lead all the way back to the base, and we're going to have some pull-up sections on the ground for you guys to be able to actually see that. So pretty exciting times for this MOC right now. And just to give you guys, you know, a few more looks at these troops over here, I was really like enjoying the way that like this shot looked. I guess I should move these squares out of the way. As I was saying, Garrett and I were really getting a kick out of like the way this looked, just kind of the troops in the trenches, and then staring up at the two giant walkers. When you really look at it this way, the trenches don't really serve too much of a purpose. These guys have no hope against the might of the AT-M6 and the AT-AT walkers that are coming towards them. But it creates a pretty cool like aesthetic. I imagine in the movie the walkers were probably not this close to the base. Like by this point they would have been well retreated into the base. But I think that for this MOC, like this is a pretty sweet action shot. We were kind of able to get the same thing in the Scarif MOC with Baze shooting his rocket at the face of the AT-ACT. So I don't know, maybe we'll do some sort of homage to that. Give one of these guys like a rocket launcher aiming at the AT-M6. So yeah, that's really all I have to show you guys for this week. What I thought was not going to be a very eventful week at all ended up being quite an eventful week because we were able to get those cheese slopes in like at the very last minute and integrate them into the MOC. And I think that it looks really nice. So, of course, guys, let us know what you think about this trench design so far. Are we missing anything? Is there anything else we need to add aside from like the ladders and stuff that we forgot to do? So that'll come at some point. But yeah, let's go ahead and move to the end of the video, guys. Alright guys, so that's pretty much going to finish up the video today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Let us know what you guys think about the trench design. I think that we really converged upon something that kind of utilizes the best of what I came up with initially, and then some of the better aspects of other MOC builders. Like I mentioned, Lego Fox Bricks has some excellent looking trenches, and I really think we took some of the best parts of both of those and kind of fused them together to make something that will look really nice. Obviously, a lot of the details like the wires and the bags and crates that are kind of sitting around in the trenches won't be there right now, but those are going to be orders that come in as we move along, and we're probably going to get different ideas or different details we can add to it. But I think right now we have a pretty good basic idea of where we want to go with the trenches, and it's really only going to get more exciting from here because we're going to be probably start like prototyping and figuring out what we're going to do for the big bunkers with the turrets on them, which is actually pretty exciting because it's the first like building type of thing that we put into this MOC. Everything up to this point, other than obviously the walker, has been pretty like natural, so this will be a pretty good kind of turnaround for us to work on, and it really makes me happy that we decided to kind of work on the MOC the way we started doing it, kind of from that flat side, and then we're moving over to more and more interesting things. So this thing is becoming very, very exciting and very, very interesting, and really looking forward to how things go along with this. So like I always say, guys, if you like what we do, go ahead, support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, and we'll be back again with some very good content. Once again, guys, there's not going to be an update video this week, so don't look for it. It's not going to be here, but week after this, we're going to be back again, and we're going to have some great updates for you and have hopefully a lot of progress on. Hopefully some parts that we really need will come in. We can finish up a lot of the salt so we don't have the Christmas edition of Crait here in this MOC anymore, and we'll be good to go from there. So appreciate all of you for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back again very soon.